Nation. Whether you've done a VA loan with us before, whether you're a stalwart fan who is always following around on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, or whether someone is sharing this video with you for the first time, happy Friday. What an amazing weekend we're going to have. I believe it's President's Day on Monday, so most of us might have a bit longer of a weekend than we usually get, so that's always a good thing. I want to just point out two things today that might not be obvious if you're a first-time visitor on our Red Friday videos. Number one, Mr. Banker here is wearing a red tie. Imagine that, not by coincidence. I'm also in a red shirt. Why do we wear red on Friday here at Low VA Rates? Because it is an outward expression of our inward feelings towards our veterans and our active military and their family members. Red is a sign of support. We support our military here at Low VA Rates. Red, remember, everyone deployed. So let's jump right into it. Today we're talking about the pros and the cons of the VA IRRRL. Now, I'm not going to do it quite yet because this is such a pretty picture, but in my opinion, there are much more pros than there are cons. We are going to tell you some of the cons of a VA IRRRL today, but this guy should be more like this, you know, because there are many more benefits to doing an IRRRL or a VA streamline than there are reasons not to. But let's talk about all of them. Number one, for those that don't know what IRRRL stands for, it's interest rate reduction refinance loan. Okay, also known as a streamline. I think the general public is probably much more aware of the word streamline. And just in case that green's too light, I'm going to pull up a black marker. We're going to talk about pros and cons of the VA streamline loan today. Okay, so I guess I can go over here, but I'm just going to do right here pros. All right. First, let's talk about all of the reasons why it would benefit you to do a streamline loan. Number one, lower interest. Okay? Lower interest. Less interest. You're going to pay a heck of a lot less interest on a VA streamline loan, or there's not that many reasons to do it. Okay. Other pros. No appraisal. This pen's not working either. As you know, we do things live and we do them unscripted here at Low VA Rates. So my team is getting me another marker. Look at that, thrown right out of thin air. So no appraisal. Probably should have erased some of that. No appraisal. I'm just going to list them up here real quick for you, then we'll talk about them. No employment. Okay? No employment. There is put arrows. No employment, no appraisal, no income, and how about no income, no minimum FICO. We're going to talk about all those real quick, then I'll erase them and I'll get into the cons. So, lower interest. If you're at 4.25% today, believe it or not, we are talking to veterans on a daily basis that are up in the 5s. Way too high of an interest rate to be paying. Let's lower that interest rate. When you lower your rate, you can lower your term and pay your home off faster. You can lower your interest rate and lower your payment by keeping your term the same. There are all sorts of ways to save money. That's the biggest and best pro to a VA streamline loan. Save money. No appraisal. That's another way to save money. It also saves you time. Those are the two things we try to do on every single loan here at Low VA Rates. Save you time, save you money. Two very valuable assets that all of our clients have. And it doesn't matter what your home's worth. If you've lost value in your home, which is not really the case in today's market, but it was just a handful of years back, that's not going to keep you from refinancing and doing a streamline loan with a VA. If you've had a change in employment recently, that might keep you from getting a new purchase loan. Possibly could even keep you from getting a cash out loan because maybe you went from doing plumbing into computer programming. And the underwriter tells you, well, those two jobs have nothing in common. We're not going to approve your loan. Not going to happen on a streamline. We don't care about your employment on a VA IRRRL. We don't care how much money you make. Debt to income ratios do not come into play. You do not have to do debt to income ratio, and there's no minimum FICO. Okay? There's all your list of pros. We're going to now get into the cons. By the way, start thinking of questions because I'm going to finish up here in about 60 seconds, and then I want to see if we have any questions. Reasons why you might not do a VA IRRRL, okay? How about not enough benefit? Okay, this is really big in the news right now. We've talked about it on our blog. We've done some press releases. There's something called a net tangible benefit. And that means it's going to cost you X, you're going to save Y, and if there's not a big enough difference, if the savings are not justified by the cost, then you might not want to do the IRRRL. Why spend $10,000 if you're only going to save $10, for example? Everybody's different. Everybody has to make that decision as to whether or not the benefits outweigh the costs. But another reason not to do a VA streamline, maybe you're moving next week. Maybe you're moving in a year. Same thing. It all goes back to this net tangible benefit. Why take the time and the money to do a streamline loan and lower your payments, all of those pros that we talked about, if you're not going to be in the loan that long? So honestly, there are not many reasons not to do the IRRRL. There's lots of benefits. I'm going to get one more marker just because this one's running out too. Either way, you can always rewind this video since it's going to be posted to the website after. My team's probably putting some comments in here as we go. They're normally really good at that. So again, way more pros. This should be like this, and a heck of a lot less cons. But if you want to know whether or not you can benefit from a VA streamline or a VA IRRRL, call us, chat with us live on our website, leave comments on this video. We will communicate with you in pretty much any way that you want. Do we have any questions?
Ben asks, do you have to have a minimum 620 credit score?
You don't. So I might have gone too quick, or Ben might have just joined us here at the end. If you go back to some of these pros that I was talking about, wow, that's much better. Go back to some of these pros. No minimum, no minimum FICO. So Ben asks about a 620. I don't care if you have a 520, 420, 720, 820. We at Low VA Rates do not care what your FICO score is when we are considering you for a VA IRRRL. Good question, Ben. Most competitors will not talk to you unless you have a 620 FICO.
Donna asks, are interest rates higher than bank loans?
Are interest rates higher than bank loans? Not 100% sure, Don, unless you want to ask that again. But excuse me, let me try to answer that the best way I understand it. Do veterans get higher interest rates than a traditional bank loan? I don't know if that's what you're asking or not, but veteran rates are generally much lower than conventional rates. We talked about that last week. We're about 25 basis points or 0.25% lower on our interest rates for veterans than we are for conventional. But if you go to your bank to get a VA loan, or you come to Low VA Rates to get your VA loan, there's not going to be a big difference in interest rates, other than the fact that Low VA Rates is known for our name, Low VA Rates. We've mentioned many times we will pay you $250 if you can get a better interest rate somewhere else. So Donna, if I didn't answer your question correctly, I apologize. Any other questions?
John says, can you show us some number beginning that would get us the best rate for the best credit? Say I had 779 credit, what kind of rate would I qualify?
Okay, so John, two things. Number one, I am not a licensed loan officer. That's what sort of environment we mortgage people live in these days, to where I'm going to talk broadly about interest rates and how they affect, or how your FICO score affects interest rates. I'm not going to speak specifically about your situation or others. If you call and talk to a licensed loan officer, they can get very specific. But John brings up a good point. If you have a 700 FICO, or you have a 600 FICO, or you have a 500 FICO, how does that affect your interest rate? The reality is, on a VA streamline at Low VA Rates, there is no difference. You're going to be able to get the same sort of credit scores on a 700 FICO that you are on a 500 FICO. On a purchase or cash out, the higher your FICO score, the better your rate. Okay? Better, we're going to go like this, better, good, good, better, best. So John brings up a great topic that maybe we can get into more detail next week. There is a correlation between your FICO score and your interest rate. So FICO rate, there's definitely a correlation. But again, on a VA IRRRL, your interest rates are not nearly as contingent upon your FICO score as they are at other banks or competitors that you go to. Any other questions?
Are these adjustable for fixed rate?
Well, we can do both here at low VA rates. There are two types of loan. There are two programs you can get when you do a VA IRRRL. You can go with a fixed rate program, or you can go with an adjustable rate or a hybrid ARM loan program. It's your choice as a veteran. We'll educate you on both. If you do an ARM loan or an adjustable rate mortgage, your interest rates are going to be lower than if you do a fixed rate loan. But you're also going to have to deal with the uncertainty of an adjustable rate mortgage. Some people would rather have the certainty of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and therefore they are okay with a slightly higher interest rate. Other people are fine having a rate that's locked in for 5 years before it adjusts. That's what a hybrid is. It's fixed for 5 years, then it adjusts, and they would much rather have a lower rate. Your hybrid ARM rates are always going to be lower than your 30-year fixed rates. Great questions this week, by the way. Any others? Okay, so this is Eric signing off. Have a safe, long President's Day weekend. We will see you here next week, same time.